One Piece Chapter 1176, With Pride, is about the Straw Hats managing the precarious situation in Elbaph. In the last chapter, Loki had revealed his Zoan dragon form to everyone in the country after inadvertently saving the kid giants with Luffy on his back. He then proceeded to fire off his lightning attack from his mouth, Thorheim, eviscerating the sleep demons in his path. This chapter primarily focuses on the rest of the crew as they serve to control the crowd and the raging inferno in Elbaph. We start off by seeing Franky's group's reaction to Loki's blast. As that is happening, we see Lilith showing off her Omni Drain converters, which basically act as energy-sucking devices. She says that Elbaph is teeming with energy, which makes her hover attack feasible. She then tells Franky that there's something better than cola to use as a power source for himself, which we'll come back to. Next, we see the flames in Elbaph have grown in size and ferocity, and with the arrival of Loki's dragon, Usopp says it really looks like the end of the world. He also mentions how Loki's dragon dwarfs Kaido in comparison, which we already knew when we saw him a couple chapters ago, due to the fact that Luffy's Gear 5 giant form looked puny in comparison to the behemoth of a dragon. But Luffy was on his back, so that means it must be on our side, he yells. I'll be honest, I'm disappointed with how Oda has handled Usopp this arc so far. This is supposed to be his pivotal arc for his character, the place where he shows us his growth into a brave warrior of the sea. But we have got nothing so far. I know it is still too early to call it a done deal, but it's not looking good right now. And every time I see Usopp's face, I get a little annoyed, because he's acting like how he has always been, like how he was 1,000 chapters ago, without any progression. I really hope that Oda hasn't totally forgot about him, and the fact that Usopp needs to prove himself in this arc more than any other arc. But anyway, we see Nami call out Zeus, as she wants to take out the flames with her staff, and Jimbe, Robin, and Saul are there too. Nami uses Zeus and her pouring rain tempo to cause a downpour, but as Zeus is doing this, we see Killingham intervene, saying this wasn't part of the deal, and that the deal was to burn down the library and history of Elbaph. We then see a giant snake worm looking thing called the Lindworm, who straight up eats Zeus, which was the last hope for the guys to snuff out the fires. Or so they thought. Suddenly, the ODCs engage, and the spinning contraption sucks up all the smoke and fire from the surrounding forest and freezes it in the aftermath. And this did it. Lilith says that even calamities like natural wildfire are just clumps of energy, which she can use to her advantage because her tech relies on energy to be abundant in the surroundings. She then gives Franky a Super Vega Cola, which Franky says is really close to bursting. Lilith compliments Franky for being such a great mechanic and masterfully designing his internal structure, and that he's at least on par with a pacifista. Vegapunk thought that someone like Franky and his design must have been powered by some high-power energy source, but it was in fact just plain old regular soda. Lilith makes it clear to Franky that his passion is his ultimate fuel, and when he uses his Vega Cola, his power will explode. And I seriously was not expecting a Franky upscale in Elbaph of all places. But hey, I'll take it, I guess. There was no time for this to happen on Egghead, on the island of Vegapunk? Seriously? Sometimes I feel like the power-ups given to the Straw Hats have no further significance than to act as a power creep. Like the time when they get certain powers should reflect the arc they are in, or how it's important to the character, but I guess not. Next, we see Zeus inside the Lindworm's mouth, begging Nami to come save him. Robin asks Saul if he can reach the library, maybe thinking they can salvage the books and artifacts inside it, as them two are all that remains of the will and history of Ohara, so they feel an obligation to protect it. Killingham, seeing this, orders the worm to devour the library instead, saying a new world can only be born by cutting ties with its history, which is a frightening line in the midst of all this chaos. We then see Jimbe in the water, preparing to use his fishman karate, which Killingham finds absolutely repulsive for some reason. He says that the fishmen are the most disgusting race in the world, and to stop himself from gagging, he brought a mask, which is insane. I wonder what the fishmen ever did to the Celestials for them to look at their entire race like that. And it is a bit funny because Killingham looks like a fisherman the most out of any of the God Knights. So part of me thinks he's heavily projecting his insecurities onto Jimbe when he says things like this. But Sanji is there to stand up for his crewmate. He tells Killingham that the disgusting entitlement that he has is characteristic of the Celestial Dragons, and calls him out of touch for not recognizing the former warlord of the sea, for which he will kick a hole in his mouth. Franky also joins in and jumps up in his super pose, jumping higher than he ever did. They each get ready to use their strongest attack, Sanji with his Ifrit Jimbe, Jimbe with his Vagabond Drill, and now Franky with super strong Dexter, powered by the Vega Super Cola. Jimbe and Franky land their attacks on the worm, while Sanji lands on Killingham's body, squishing it in the process. Now, as far as we know, Sanji doesn't have Conqueror's Haki, so his attack on Killingham won't be enough to kill him because of their regenerative powers. If you don't use a COC attack with a high Haki mass, then you won't be able to hurt them. Killingham will get back up in the next chapter, but what they have managed to do now is to buy some time for the library and the school, so Saul and Robin can go do their thing. In the western village, where Zoro was fighting Dory and Broggy last time we saw them, or Dory was fighting Broggy I should say, we see a Domi reverse giant regenerate from a wound, and Ajuden and Stanson say how annoying it is for them to keep coming back after getting hit and hit so many times. And not only are these demons, but they also have familiar faces of their friends and crewmates, so it makes it that much harder. What can anyone do about this? How do you stop the Domi reverse giants? In the next page, we see Dory and Broggy wheezing, asking each other if they're still there, if their identity is still deep inside them still. They say they are barely hanging on, but what they're doing is a disgrace. Taking Ja Rule's head will be the biggest stain on their honor for generations to come. It should have never come to this, they say, and wish each other a farewell. Which to me, when I was reading this, I thought, oh, they're getting ready to sacrifice themselves to stop themselves from killing Ja Rule, which would have represented their Elbaph warrior pride, as the title of the chapter suggests, with pride. But that's not how it goes down. And a part of me did think that the pacing of their quote-unquote sacrifices was a little too fast. But you see Dory and Broggy remember their great duels over the years, and they say there's nothing left for them to do but die with pride, as they both decapitate each other. The crowd is shocked as they yell out Dory and Broggy's names. They wonder why they did that, and suddenly, both Dory and Broggy are seen perfectly healthy with their heads back as if there was never a battle. Which, as Ja Rule perfectly puts it, death can break the curse, the demonic curse of the Domi reversal. In the double spread, we see Dory, Broggy, Hajunin, Stanson, and Zoro. And Dory and Broggy say that the moment, and this is important, the moment you're flipped, meaning the moment you are killed in a Domi reverse state, your body returns to working shape. Now I need to know, why did Zebek's parents not return after they were Domi reversed and killed by Zebek on God Valley? Why didn't someone like Zebek turn back into his normal state after Garp and Roger had to use their final attacks on him? Like, surely this is not the explanation, Oda. And if you say that, oh, he was turned back but Garland killed him, that's just BS. Because there was a time lapse after Garp and Roger's attacks and when Garling and the God Knights reached rocks. If Zebek had flipped into his normal state, then he would have been perfectly fine enough to evade Garling's attack and either kill him right then and there or to escape the island. I don't buy this explanation of Garling just killing him right after he flips back, because there would have been enough time for Zebek to act in that moment. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it. And not only that, we get another fake-out death with Dory and Broggy coming back to life after sacrificing themselves. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the stakes on Elbaph haven't matched what I expected from a final saga level threat. But anyway, Zoro and the Giants gear up and get ready, and they're even a little excited that they finally get to go all out against the Domi Reverse Giants. Zoro especially is fired up. Now it's not going to be easy for the new giant pirates, and I wait to get to slice up these demons using his Ashura form. And that's how the chapter ends. Guys, how did you feel about this chapter? Did you like it? Did you not? Did it make sense to you that to undo the Domi reversal, you have to kill the one possessed, even though the same wasn't true with Zebek or his parents? And how did he feel about the way it was done with Dory and Broggy attempting to sacrifice themselves? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.